Now we are focusing on kingdom Plantae. The most complicated part here to classify, because two options are there. Say for example, plants with vascular system and plants without vascular system. This is my first aspect. Second aspect, that plants having flowers and plants not bearing flowers. Two things are there. I have to go for classification by considering these two aspects. So here I should consider the first aspect, that is flowering plants and non-flowering plants. And then I should go by vascular system. By the way, what is vascular system here? That in primitive plants, say for example, Bryophyta is the category. In that case, multicellular structure is there. But plants are not growing to greater extent, greater in size. They are usually very tiny plants. And so, conduction of water is there from one cell to another cell. And no specific tubes are there to transport water. But in advanced plants, say for example mango tree, coconut tree, there is water conducting tissue or tubes are present. We are calling them as xylems. Whereas food material is transported by another special category of tubes, we are calling them as phloems. So if xylem is present and phloem is present, then we are calling that vascular system or conducting tissues are present. So lower level plants, they don't have this type of conducting tissues or xylems and phloem, so we are calling them as non-vascular plant. But higher level plants, they are having this vascular system, so we are calling them as vascular plant. This kingdom Plantae, I am classifying here. So I am taking this. We are first classifying on basis of cryptogam and phanerogam. So I am writing here cryptogam and phanerogam. But keep in mind, what is the meaning of cryptogam? Now in biology, the most difficult task is here, that already my mother tongue is not English. I hope your mother tongue is also not English if you are staying in India. Then, second thing, the biological words are not there in English. They are there in language that is Latin. When I am talking of binomial nomenclature, Latin nomenclature is there. Same way, suppose I am talking of various terms, they are there in Latin. So you can consider, like in India, Sanskrit is parent language. And from Sanskrit, various other languages are derived. We are calling that as Prakrit languages. Except South Indian languages, they are called as Dravidian category of languages. In that, Tamil oriented languages are there. Tamil is totally separate language than Sanskrit. Now, ancient. So, these languages are either derived from Sanskrit or from Tamil. But nowadays, various Sanskrit terms are there in Tamil, or like that various South Indian languages also. So we can consider that Sanskrit is there all over India. Even if you are aware, in parts of Afghanistan, Pushtu language is a spoken language. Northwest frontier region of Pakistan and eastern parts of Afghanistan, certain parts are there, their language is called as Pushtu. It is most probably, we don't have certain, but most probably derived from language that is called as Paishachi language, which was considered as one of the Prakrit language of Sanskrit. So Prakrit means derived from Sanskrit. So like that, in Europe, their base of language is either Greek or Latin. Various terms are originating out from Latin. And that's why for our side or from Indian side, we have to learn first English and then Latin. Now here, cryptogam. Gam stands for gametes. Crypto, that stands for hidden. The gametes, they are hidden. They are not open. You are aware of the certain words we are using in language of computer that we are calling as encryption or encrypted format. So like that word is there, that is crypt. So cryptogam, that means gametes are hidden. That means reproductive organs are not observed clearly. Whereas phanerogams, they are showing their reproductive organ. In case of plant, flowers are reproductive organ. So in case of phanerogam, flowers are observed. That means simply, instead of giving all this data, I should classify this as non-flowering. I am writing here now non-flowering plant and flowering plant. You can consider non-flowering plant as cryptogam and flowering plant as phanerogam. So this is first classification way. Now this is on basis of non-vascular plants and vascular plants. So further non-flowering I have to classify as non-vascular plants and vascular plants. So I am again starting living system. We are dividing into 5 kingdoms. Out of that, now we are talking of kingdom Plantae, that means plants. In that Plantae kingdom, we are talking of non-flowering plant and flowering plant. Out of that, we are saying non-flowering, that means cryptogam. Non-flowering plants are divided into non-vascular plants and vascular plants. Now, in case of non-vascular plant, we have 2 types, that is bryophyta and thallophyta. So here I am having classified bryophytes and thallophytes. Whereas vascular plants we are classifying as, I am writing here P, but we have to pronounce as pteridophytes. So I am classifying vascular and non-vascular, and then in case of vascular we are classifying as pteridophytes. In this case we are first focusing on thallophyta. Thallus. Thallus means body without organ. Okay, let me clarify more. You are aware of the Spirogyra. We are categorizing them as algae. So here thallophyta, under that we are saying it is algae. So basically this algae category, don't say blue-green algae, because blue-green algae now we are classifying under bacteria. They are called as cyanobacteria now. But here we are classifying them as algae, where we are having, say I should show here, filaments. This is purely aquatic in nature, whereas it is having a cellular structure. Intermediate cell membranes are also present. As we discussed in case of fungus, that intermediate membranes are absent, but here intermediate membranes are present. Each cell is functioning like separate. They are separate. They are growing from both the ends. But thing is that every cell is separate unit. Suppose I am rupturing this at this junction, then also plants are there to survive. They start growing from both the ends. This is characteristic of these plants, where we are getting nucleus as well as we are getting a spiral chlorophyll, chloroplast inside it. As a result, this is autotrophic in nature. It is having some mucus secretion. Mucus means slippery. Soap-like secretion is there on surface, and so particularly somewhat shock resistance nature is there. Usually algae, they are having this type of mucus secretion on their outer cell wall, and therefore if you observe particularly in rainy period or during water bodies, if you observe that various stones, they are having this type of algal growth, and then that stones are slippery. This is because mucus secretion secreted by this type of algae. Now here, particularly these cells are independent of each other. In some cases, some sort of distribution of work is observed. We are calling that as cell differentiation. Usually cell differentiation is not observed, but certain certain characteristics are there. For example, in case of nostoc, a heterocyst is present, and that heterocyst, cyst means here body, cell, a different type of cell is present over here, which is carrying out nitrogen fixation function. So like that, various things are there. Now I am talking of these algae, particularly you can keep in only one example here, that is in case of Thallophyta, that is about Spirogyra. So this is example. Again keep in mind, Thallophyta means body without organ. So here we are having this type of thallophytes. Then in case of bryophytes, we are having somewhat modification. I am using word somewhat modification. That means some sort of cell differentiation is observed. Let me clarify. We can take example of Funaria, or that is also called as moss. So two things I discussed. Suppose this is substratum. Then on substratum, we are getting rhizoids of that part. Rhizoids means, again same word, unicellular part, not multicellular, but serving like root. They are planted here, fixed here with help of this substratum. We are calling them as rhizoids. They absorb minerals, they absorb water, everything. So serves like roots, but they are not called as roots. What we are calling them as rhizoids. Now here we are having some leafy appearance like that. You can check out, particularly in rainy season, on walls, compound walls usually, fencing walls, this type of green outgrowths are coming out. Some leafy outgrowths are observed. They are moss or Funaria. Now this is what leaves, but I should not call them as leaf. Why? Because it is not predominantly leaf. Leaf-like structures are present. There is no vascular system. If I am calling leaf, then there must be vascular system. If I am calling root, then there must be vascular system. No. And then from that, certain stem-like appearance is there, and at end there is capsule, something like this, which is consisting of spores. This sporangia or capsules break out to spread out spores over here. So next growth is possible. This is example of Funaria, where we can observe stem-like appearance, we can observe leaf-like appearance, we can observe root-like appearance, but predominant or distinguished structures are not observed. Another example of this type of Bryophyta, this is coming under Bryophyta, is we are calling them as Rixia. Now this is something you can say almost heart-shaped structure. I am not using perfect heart-shaped, almost heart-shaped like structure. It is lying, suppose this is land, then on land it is lying parallelly. So suppose this is wall, this will grow like this. There are rhizoids. Now I can't show rhizoids are present inside, so I am showing this way. Don't consider rhizoids are coming out, they are there inside. These rhizoids are there, you are aware now, rhizoids, they are giving attachment, they are giving support, they are giving mineral, water, etc. from soil. So it is growing. This is all, this is a leaf-like structure, it is consisting of chlorophyll. Here also chlorophyll is present, and so it is autotrophic in nature. Now its growth is something like that. From both ends it start growing, and here also it will start growing this way. Getting idea? So everywhere they are giving rhizoids. Now further growth, say for example here, it will grow in this way. Here also it will grow in this way. Again the thing, this will grow in this way. Like that it is growing. Then ultimately it is released from this part and separate plant is developed from that. This is example of Rixia. So these categories where vascular system is not there, we are calling them as either thallophytes or bryophytes depending upon nature of their body. So this is basic difference here, that thallophytes and bryophytes. Both are having no flowers. Reproduction is carried out in both ways. That is, we are calling as vegetative reproduction and sexual reproduction. When we are talking of vegetative reproduction, like we discussed about spores, the formation of spores and reproduction is carried out. Or even that Spirogara fibers, they are growing and they are breaking out. Then again they are growing at both ends. So this type of reproduction we are calling as vegetative reproduction. In case of sexual reproduction, gametes are produced. Now we are just switching over a topic here at this stage. When we are talking gametes, in earlier lecture you must have noticed that we said that there are two types of cells, somatic cells and gamete cells. Now in case of somatic cell, there are chromosomes. We are calling that chromosome number is in order of 2n. In any nucleus of that cell, there are chromosomes, they are in order of 2n number. What is meaning of 2n? It is always even number. So let's check out. Multiply any number by 2, whether it is odd or even. Multiplying by 2, you will always get even number. Actually, that is the characteristic. If number is divisible by 2, it is called as even number. So here I am saying 2n number of chromosome set is there, then that cells are called as somatic cells. In reproduction type, from that special cells are developed. They are bearing out n number of chromosomes. They are called as haploid cells. Half. So we are using word as haploid. So here we are having haploid cells, whereas this 2n number we are calling as diploid cells. So this is haploid cell, this is diploid cell. Now first the gametes are formed. They are haploid in nature. Now these gametes are fusing out to get diploid cell and new plants is developed. Then in that case we are calling reproduction as sexual reproduction. Now case is that whether both gametes are motile or not motile. Motile means they are having motion. Say for example, in certain case of plants, both gametes are motile. We are calling that as syngamy. I can't consider one as male gamete and other one is as female gamete. But in variety of plants, one gamete is fixed, another gamete is motile. The fixed gamete is called as female gamete, whereas motile gamete is called as male gamete. Now, in case of Spirogyra, this type of sexual reproduction is observed. In case of various these primitive plants, this type of sexual reproduction is also observed, but not flowers are produced. In case of next example I should talk, that is, we are now focusing on vascular category. I am saying this is as, I am writing P, but they are practically, I have to pronounce as Pteridophyta. So in that Pteridophyta we are talking of fern or Nephrolepis. Name of plant is Nephrolepis, but in English we are calling it as fern plant. So I have to discuss about fern plant. Now fern plant is having two different lives or two different structure. One is called as sporophyte and another one is called as gametophyte. In case of Nephrolepis, or that is called as fern plant belonging to Pteridophyta, we have to discuss two types. One is called as sporophyte and another one is called as gametophyte. First, let me explain. If chromosome number in that plant is 2n, then it is called as sporophyte. Spore bearing plant, that is sporophyte. So sporophyte, they are having chromosome number 2n, whereas if chromosome number is n, then it is called as gametophyte. So this plant is living in two forms, sporophytes and gametophyte. So first I have to explain the form, that is sporophyte. Sporophyte form is something like that. This is suppose land. Inside land there is a stem which is obliquely placed. Oblique means this way. So this is obliquely placed stem. From this stem leaves are coming out. This is called as pinnate leaves. We are having this type of form of compound leaves are observed over here, where we are having this type of leaf structure. So I am not showing everywhere this type of border, this type of leaves are observed. This is actually Nephrolepis plant. Now running root, stem is also there, and it is going like this, where we are getting formation of new rhizoids. Then new stem is also formed, and again we are getting this type of next plant. So like that plant propagates. This is vegetative reproduction. If this breaks out here, then this plant serves as separate identity. Now these leaves, they are I am showing this way now. This is leaf. So this is first side and this is second side. On first side I have to explain now. On this first side you are getting leaf like this. There is a midrib. Say in earlier way, in case of bryophytes, no midrib was observed because vascular system is absent. Here vascular system is present. Then we are having vascular system perfectly. So this rib is divided into this type of lines, and ultimately we are getting further division, and here a white color dots. Everywhere we are getting this way white color dots. They are called as for the purpose of guttation. That means whatever waste matter is produced, that waste matter is coming in this part, and they are giving out water from that, whereas calcinated part, that is remaining again, calcium salt containing part, that is remaining over there, and that's why we are getting this type of white color dots on one part of leaf or front part of leaf. On back side, suppose I am showing this way. Now this leaf is there. This is front side, this is back side. I am showing this way, the back side. Now back side is at down and front side is at top. We are having sporangium. Like that, bodies are developed. At exactly opposite side of this hydanthodium, this part is called as hydanthodium. So opposite of this hydanthodium, this type of bodies are produced, which are dark brown in color, which is consisting of a part that is called as sporangium. This type of sporangiums are here. So here I should say sporangium are present. They are having here a different type of cells, and here different types of cells. Inside that spores are there. At maturity, these cells become dry, and suddenly these cells, when water falls below critical level, they rupture open in vigorous fashion, and spores from inside get spread out in the air. So this way, this is sporophyte. From leaves, they are releasing out spores, and these spores travel by help of wind, water, whatever that, and that marshy place, damp place, that spore, not necessarily each and every spore, but many spores start their life. That is called as gametophyte. So from spore, plant is developed. That is called as gametophyte. Spores are formed by haploid division, and that's why number of chromosomes present in that sporophyte is 2n, whereas in gametophyte they are n. Gametophyte resembles to Rixia. I am showing only in reverse way. Rixia I have shown in reverse way. Here we are getting rhizoids. This is called as thallus. Thallus means what? Organs are not observed. Only a body which is having chlorophyll. That means it is autotrophic in nature. It is having no vascular system. So it is some sort of development from bryophytes towards vascular system. In between that, because the first phase of life, as we discussed, sporophyte, it is having vascular system, but gametophyte is not having any vascular system. This is multicellular part here, multi-layer part. So suppose I am observing from soil, this is thallus, I am showing this way, then these are rhizoids, where in middle part we are having something like cushion. So multicellular, multi-layer part is observed over here, and on that there are development of antheridia and archegonia. So there is development of this type of part, say inverted round bottom flask, something like that is developed here inside. We are calling that as archegonia. And some antheridia are also developed. Antheridia consisting of male gamete, whereas archegonia consisting of female gamete. Here an X cell is there. X cell, that means what? It is consisting of n number of chromosome. Whereas neck cells are there. They are forming a special type of substance that is called as malic acid. Now this is all growing at damp place, or usually where some sort of water is present, moisture is present. Now these are antheridia present, they releases out a substance that is called as male gamete. We are calling that as anthrozoids. They are something like this, having cell, nucleus and flagellum. Flagellum for swimming or motion, and then they are reaching towards malic acid. This next cell get fused out and produces malic acid. It is released over here. So not necessary from this prothallus. This is called as prothallus. Not necessary from this prothallus. From another prothallus also they might come here and they enter here, where there is formation of zygote. So here I am showing this way now. This is formation of zygote here. Zygote means what? N chromosome from antheridia, archegonia, and N chromosome from antheridia. So they are combining together. So we are getting 2n number of set. We are calling this type of cell, that is called as zygote. And from that zygote, plants develop, that is called as sporophyte. So this sporophyte is developed again from gametophyte. So this cycle is there. We are talking this about pteridophytes.